Welcome everyone, Marcelo is my name. Awesome to have your company and welcome to the Bois 1920 Discovery Series. The idea is that you and me can enjoy perfumes in real time across the world. If you also like this concept, then these are the other productions that I have created across other brands. Today it's all about Bois 1920. Now the best way to enjoy this media, well there's two ways. One, just keep watching and enjoy it as a review. I'm going to cover 5 different fragrances from the Bois 1920 lineup. Or, and this is what I would invite you to do, jump on the Bois 1920 website, use the code NFC to receive a 10% discount off that discovery set. Now, you're gonna wanna boot back to this particular production. The way you do that is you click here, save it here, and when your discovery set arrives, click here and boot back to this production. Now I'm going to assume that you do have your discovery set in front of you. I'm going to follow the Michael Edwards fragrance wheel. I'd like you to put your fragrances in a particular order. First we're going to do SCORZAFORZA, then ROSSO, followed by FRAMMENTI, then OLTREMARE, and finally finishing with an incredible fragrance called Marasma. Now in the discovery set you're going to find that there is this beautiful card, has a list of all the fragrances and the notes. I'd like you to put that face down. I will refer to it, but I'd like you to experience the fragrance first rather than go into what are the notes, what's its top note, what am I gonna look forward to. Just let's enjoy, let's relax, and let's encounter these fragrances together and see how they express themselves as you spray and as you experience. Now I am gonna ask you to place some fragrances on skin. I've already sprayed, by the way. Some of these I wanna, because I'm deeper in the dry down now, and I wanna share where they start, but where they also finish. Otherwise, if you have some cards, then card is fantastic. Let us begin. One thing that I love doing is discovering brands that are native to either a city or a country. I discovered Bois 1920 probably about 2 or 3 years ago. They are native to Florence and have been there since 1920. Now the word Bois is actually an acronym, Bottega Italiana Spiegel. And that's because the first founder, Guido Gallardi, started Bois 1920 with the intention of creating a fragrance called Spiegel di Toscano. It then grew into what we see today, which is a large house with a vast library of incredible fragrances. The beautiful thing about Bois 1920, it's remained as a family-owned business to this day. I've had an opportunity to deal with Lorenzo Gallardi, who is actually the great-great-grandson of Guido, and he is the next generation coming through as the owner of the brand. If you want to see more on the work that I've done together with the boys from Bois 1920, have a look at these productions here. In particular, this one here, I cover off the history, a little bit of drama. After all, it is Florence, so there's got to be a little bit of drama, and where they are today and how they are so integrated with the city of Florence. If you get a chance to visit Florence, I strongly recommend that you go to the historic store of Bois 1920 and get to experience the full collection that they have. I'd love you to grab your SCORZAFORZA and spray. For those who love anything to do with citrus, oh mama is my word to you. Oh mama. How glorious is that? I don't want you to look at the card with all the notes on it. I want you to think, what is it that you're smelling here? I think it's pretty obvious. It's citrus. It's an incredible explosion of citrus joy and happiness. But which particular citrus note seems to come forward for you? I'm hoping you said mandarin. In the citrus family, both the orange and the mandarin for me I get wowed by them. I am seduced by their beauty. On that opening, you get the lemon, the mandarin, the bergamot, all just popping together at the same time. But in particular, that mandarin note seems to really come forward. It is a celebration of mandarin at the end of the day. The word SCORZAFORZA, what does that mean? Scorza, it is the peel, the skin of the actual fruit. Forza is force. So this is the zest, the peel of the actual citrus in full force. Or you could also say that this is a beast mode citrus. This is one that I'd love you to spray on skin. Now, I know by the end of this, you're gonna be covered in perfume, I have a feeling. However, that's not a bad thing. The complete 5 of these fragrances, each one is divine. You will smell amazing by the end of this. Okay, the difference between on skin and on card is remarkable. On card, I find that the citrus really is almost singular. It's very just it stays in that very bright citrus, whereas on skin, I'm getting another facet, and this is a facet that I'd love you to experience. I found that on skin, the citrus note pops, is very present, but it's a petitgrain. It's a green note that you're getting that's coming through. And on skin, it seems to sing better. It begins to emerge with a lot more confidence than what you're getting on the actual card. The blend between this orangey, mandarin, zesty brightness mixed in with this minty green, leafy sort of scent profile to it, you'll find stays throughout the entire fragrance. As a summer fragrance, this is spectacular. If you're coming into summer, SCORZAFORZA will be the best citrus fragrance that you will have in your collection. Recently, I had an experience to go to grass and experience some notes that are used in perfumery, but now found in nature. One of them was petitgrain. And the one thing that makes petitgrain unique is that there are 3 elements to it. 1, it's that leafy green. 2, it has a lemon zest, citrus brightness. And 3, it has a light white floral touch to it. The guide that was with us explained to us the beauty of petitgrain and how it can be used in so many different ways. And I find that here, it lends itself so beautifully to that mandarin juicy note, but keeps it in a refreshing green, bright, leafy place. Just a touch of florals in there. But the balance is absolutely divine. The other note that accentuates it even further, and see if you can detect it, other than that citrus mandarin, is a mint. There's mint in the heart. And I find that in between the mandarin, the petitgrain, and that mint, that the 3 notes dance throughout the life of the fragrance. SCORZAFORZA is the perfect name for this fragrance. As a citrus fragrance, it has incredible force and potency. You're going to get 10+ hours. I find that the sillage and projection on this fragrance is enormous. For a citrus fragrance, it's phenomenal. In the base, there are things like cedarwood, patchouli, amber. I never detect these particular notes. My understanding is that those notes are there purely to create bones and structure. Those cedar, patchouli, amber have much larger molecules. They have a lot more strength to them. I'm gonna say that they're designed to hold this fragrance in place and create that longevity that you're enjoying from it. SCORZAFORZA, boom baby, beast mode, citrus fragrance. Now something a little bit more subtle. I find that ROSSO, I'd love you to spray if you have it. Actually, spray it on skin. If you have room and you're interested, I would recommend this one on skin. I am wearing it today. I was wearing it as my fragrance because I wanted to talk about its longevity and dry down. But otherwise, spray on card. Gorgeous. Where SCORZAFORZA is all about presence and commanding, you know, I am here, you know, with a big trumpet. ROSSO, I find, is a lot more on subtlety, on sophistication, on elegance. And I also find that for me, I see it as a completed fragrance as opposed to very distinct moments that are happening. SCORZAFORZA is a good example. The citruses are coming through, then this petitgrain greenness, and then the mint, and so all these different things are happening. Whereas I find that ROSSO is a lot more quieter and demure in the way that it presents itself. But it has such beautiful subtlety to it. I first experienced this fragrance in Florence at the Bois 1920 boutique. I had an opportunity to film alongside Simone. I always say that he is like the consigliere, the patriarch. His name is Mauro Gallardi, and Simone is almost like a son to him. I love the relationship. We had an opportunity to actually visit Florence. Simone was our guide for the day. We started our day in the Bois 1920 store. We all chose a fragrance for the day. Simone said that ROSSO was his choice because it was the perfect day for it. These were his words. This particular shot here, the river was behind us. There was this beautiful breeze coming through, and I remember distinctly ROSSO just emanating from him. This is now 3 hours deep into the shoot, and I remember saying to him, like, Simone, which one is that one again? Because it is smelling amazing. what I love about this fragrance, and I love the evolution of it. Whereas, and I go back, where SCORZAFORZA is commanding, it pretty much is that fragrance all the way through, citrus and greens and bright and minty and Oro Rosso has this beautiful evolution. It starts off with this beautiful floral amber touch. There is blood orange on that opening, and you're getting the sweetness as opposed to the citrus. It then migrates to this wonderful indolic, heady-like jasmine, and I want to talk more about this. Then as it migrates down, it goes to this beautiful floral amber. The whole evolution of the fragrance is soft, is supple. There is a, as I mentioned before, an elegance to the fragrance. If you sprayed it on card or you sprayed it on skin, I'd love you to inhale deeply. I get this wonderful indolic jasmine from it. Think jasmine, think walking late at night when the jasmine is in its full bloom and it's emanating this incredible, powerful scent. That for me, that's the crowning glory of this fragrance. I know that there are things like saffron, there are woody notes, there are all these other elements to the fragrance, but for me, that jasmine has been captured in such a way that it's almost photorealistic. I love walking around at night, the area that we're in, lots of gardens, and there are jasmine plants everywhere. And I love it when I get a slight breeze and this beautiful indolic white floral jasmine, a little bit animalic, comes floating through the air. And I find that this fragrance does that so well. I find that this fragrance has 6 hours on skin. I have been wearing it today. Confidently, it's been sitting around me. The one thing that I love about the fragrance, as my body heats up, I think that the fragrance is gone. As my body heats up, the fragrance reemerges and goes to that beautiful jasmine, sweet indolic place instantly. On a beautiful summery day, similar to what Simone said, the fragrance plays so well, 6 hours without a problem. And I find that its sillage and projection is in a confident moderate. It never goes down to a body scent. There's always presence when it comes to this particular fragrance. As a masculine fragrance, this one is perfect. Even though it does have that jasmine note, but it's not overtly white floral. Sometimes I find that jasmine fragrances tend to be, this very strong white floral, very feminine. Whereas here, with all those other woody notes, the slight saffron touch to it, it's a perfect fragrance for a man to wear and enjoy. We're now going to go to beast mode. In my opinion, more feminine leaning. This is the ever-present Frammenti. I don't want you to spray yet, because the moment you do, you won't be able to hear or see or smell anything else. Frammenti will be front and center. I love saying that where Oro Rosso is subtle, quiet, and subdued as a fragrance, Frammenti is bold, exotic, and in your face. It's a gorgeous fragrance. This one here is a statement maker. I put this down as a boss girl fragrance. Yes, men can wear it, and I'll tell you more about this, but every female around me, all these boss women around me, love Frammenti. I'll go into that. But before you spray, still hang tight. I want you to observe the beauty of this bottle. When this fragrance was released, I had an opportunity to spend time with Mauro and Lorenzo and Simone, and they explained to me how each one of these bottles is hand created. These are actual gold leaf that local artisans who are based not far from Florence, who hand create this and then seal it to create this very unique, every bottle has its own unique touch to it. So I just want to acknowledge the work that the team from Bois 1920 go into creating something that is unique. Everything that they have, whether it's the lids, whether it's the bottle, is all made in Italy, because they want this to be a unique gift from Italy, and more in particular from Florence itself. Okay, we ready? Spray, please. Here we go. I'm not going to spray on skin because this won't come off. And notice one spray. My recommendation is 2 to 3 sprays, the absolute max. Man, that thing already is popping. It's now like it's like a flashbang. And my senses have all just been overcome by the power of Frammenti. My gosh, this is beast mode. This is beast mode fragrance, but now with this mixture of florals and gourmand and slight vanilla touches and this musk. It just, everything about it is just, it's just beauty in the air. This is a monster. So where I talked about the sillage and projection of these ones here being in the moderate, this is high to monster. This has incredible push. The sillage trail that this creates is phenomenal. When it comes to its longevity on skin, 20 plus hours without a problem. You will smell this till the next morning. If you want to create presence, if you're going somewhere very special, to an event, to an outdoor dining, anything where you want to create a bit of a head-turning opportunity, then I would recommend to you Frammenti as your secret weapon for that. Now, interestingly, what are your thoughts on the fragrance? Do you feel like it's masculine or feminine leaning? I bought this fragrance for myself. This one originally, when I was in the Bois 1920 boutique, I fell in love with it instantly. Lorenzo Gallardi, I was meeting him that day. He walked in and I got this incredible sillage from him, which was a mixture of this fruity black currant touch with some florals. I detected some caramel and I'm like, what are you wearing? What is that? Frammenti, we've just released it. I recommend it to you. I OD'd on this fragrance. When I was in Florence, there was nothing else that I was wearing but this. Then my wife got hold of this fragrance and that was the end of that. This became Sandra's power fragrance. I smell it in the air and for me, this is a Sandra all around. My editors, two young ladies, this has become their fragrance of choice also. Yes, a man can wear this fragrance, but for me now, this is boss woman fragrance. On skin, this fragrance is pure magic. I love the evolution and I would recommend to you, put it on skin and you'll begin to see these different waves coming through. It starts off with this wonderful, fruity black currant. It's not juicy. There is like a slight musky touch to it, but that black currant note is very distinct. It moves through eventually to this beautiful rosy musk fragrance. And the balance is perfect. You're getting that rose note, but there is like a white musk that sort of comes in over the top. The balance between the two is fantastic. The black currant is still playing there. And finally, it settles into this vanilla floral fragrance. There is a caramel note in the base. And I find that the fruit, the rose, the musk, that vanilla, just does this incredible dance at the end. You are getting different facets of that even as you are deeper in the dry down. Glorious fragrance, feminine power. It's one that you will seduce rather than enforce your will on someone. It's through the scent profile that people will just fall in love with what you're wearing. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Delilah was wearing this when she seduced Samson. Just a gorgeous fragrance. You know what I'd love you to do? Flip over your card. I'd love you to have a look at the opening notes of Frammenti and then the opening notes of SCORZAFORZA. I love that a number of notes are listed, but I don't detect these. So for instance, if I take SCORZAFORZA, the citrus vibrance, happiness that comes out of this fragrance is unparalleled, unmatched with anything else. Believe it or not, Frammenti has grapefruit and bergamot, but the black currant is this hero note that just emerges out. Love it, absolutely love it. Allora, two left. I love that we've been moving through the wheel in experiencing these fragrances. The next episode, you'll see that the other five all fall within one part of the wheel, which is woods. The part that blows my brain is that each one of these fragrances, even though they all fall in that one category, are very different and distinct. Here you can see though, that we are moving through the wheel beautifully. We were in floral amber and you can detect that on the dry down, beautiful floral amber touch that this fragrance has. We're moving across now to mossy woods. Classically, mossy wood has been more of a masculine area, but ladies, I encourage you, yes, spray on card, but please, I would love for you to spray on skin. Boys, spray on skin. Don't waste your sample. I had it here earlier, actually I had it here. The dry down is incredible. This is now about 2 hours deep, and I want to talk to you about the dry down because where we begin the journey on OLTREMARE and where we finish are two different places. So I'd like you to spray. Can you detect that? Oh my gosh. Don't look at your notes just yet. What are you picking up? According to the notes, this does not exist, but to my nose, and I'd love you to smell, cannabis. I get this very green, vibrant cannabis note. It's, when I first experienced this, when I spray, I'm like, whoa, why are they putting cannabis? Because I have, I guess, a sensitivity to cannabis fragrances. I'm not a big fan of them. We'll talk about cannabis next week when we do the other 5. There are 2 in this collection. Cannabis in its full green raw form, and then a cannabis fruttata. We'll talk about these in more detail. But here, OLTREMARE, when I first experienced it, I'm like, whoa, why are we opening with a cannabis note? What's the fascination? It's already beginning to migrate. Give it another 30 or so minutes, and this very sour, stringent green note begins to settle down. Believe it or not, there is no green, there is no cannabis. I thought there were some herbal notes that are in there, but there's none of the above. Before you look at the notes, I'd love you to do a comparison. I'd love you to pick up SCORZAFORZA, or if you sprayed it on skin somewhere, I'd love you to smell that first. Tell me the mandarin is not gorgeous. Now smell your OLTREMARE. Difference, right? Green, slightly sour, in your face. This sweet, subtle, still commanding, like you've just grabbed the skin of a mandarin or a tangerine and sort of peeled it backwards, allow those citruses to, those beautiful oils to pop forward. Gorgeous. In fact, the opening of OLTREMARE has lemon, orange, a sweet orange, and then a Sicilian lemon. There are 2 types. There's a bitter lemon or a green lemon, and then a Sicilian lemon. It has an explosion of citrus, but it's not what you get. However, I feel that, and this is the wild part of the fragrance, the heart notes seem to come forward on their opening, and then those citrus notes fold into the fragrance as it begins to dry down. In the heart, there are things like the rhubarb, green in its texture. There is mate leaves. There's also the violet leaf. I had an opportunity to be with an incredible perfumer by the name of Meo Fushuni. We actually went violet hunting in his native town. We found some violet. He explained to me, if you crush the leaf of the violet flower, you get a very vibrant green scent profile to the actual flower. This is what I'm getting on the opening. All these green, super strong notes come forward. As the fragrance begins to dry down, it folds into this beautiful citrus. The fragrance is phenomenal for its evolution. It starts off with this bitter green scent profile to it. It wakes you up and makes you know that it's there. It then goes into this beautiful, salty, citrus touch. And finally, it dries down to a vibrant, marine, floral fragrance. There is a sweet touch. I don't know where it comes from. It could be that those earlier citrus notes are coming through, but there is a sweet touch to this fragrance. Where you start, where you are right now, and already it's beginning to change a little bit. That sharpness or that green sharpness has come down. I'm getting some of the marine, salty, musky touches coming through. But where I am here, give it another hour or so, and I am in a totally different place, to the point, and I hand on my heart, you will go, that's not the same fragrance. You'll be hunting your body wherever you've sprayed all these other fragrances, going, where is OLTREMARE? Where you end up here is in a completely different place to where you start. I find that OLTREMARE is transformative. In smelling it, I picture myself on a cliff, seeing the ocean, sea breeze. I'm almost windswept. Around me are herbal notes, green notes, thyme, rosemary. I was surprised, to be completely honest, that I genuinely thought there were herbal pieces to this fragrance, like thyme, like rosemary. But it's obviously those beautiful green notes that are in the heart, the rhubarb, the mate, the tea, the beautiful violet leaves that are in the fragrance that is creating this herbal green touch to the fragrance. Smell the fragrance again now. It's moved again. I mentioned before tea. Think of like a black tea. You are getting touches of that. It's the most evolutionary, the way it dances. Again, ladies, I'd strongly recommend to you OLTREMARE. A beautiful, summery, happy, vibrant fragrance that will take you, as the name suggests, OLTREMARE, overseas, anywhere where there is sunshine, a beach, and happiness. Now, I have one last one. This is a new release from Bois 1920. It's called Marasma, and I would love you to spray this. This is also an aquatic expression. Actually, I hesitate because I actually want to spray this on skin and show you. Okay, well, I sprayed it on card, but I do want to spray beep bop boop. Oh man, can you smell that? Did you get a chance to spray? How divine is that in the air? Oh my gosh. Okay, I do want to spray on skin. All right, I'm gonna spray up here. Boop. But look at the difference. It is a marine fragrance, and we'll go into that. It does dry down into a beautiful, salty, marine place. But the difference between OLTREMARE and Marasma are just the worlds apart. Worlds apart. I love the opening. Spraying on skin, you're getting a lot more evolution, a lot more of an experience with the fragrance. I find that spraying on card, it's a great indicator, but it's very one-dimensional, whereas on skin, it's, it's 6D, if there's such a thing. It has so many more different elements to it. The opening for me, actually, what are you detecting? Talk to the screen. What are you picking up? The opening for me is always such a wild ride. Because when I stop and think, I get different aspects or different elements from this fragrance. There are moments, just then, I picked up this very minty, herbal, green sort of touch to it. And then when you stop and think, I get a cocktail fruit vibe to it. There are these fruit notes that are emerging, but fruit notes that are exotic, pineapple and mango and things of that nature. And then I get this creaminess, but it has like an almond milk or a coconut milk, or it's divine. And then a salty touch. This sea air, ocean, being on a boat, divine. Marasma, what does that mean? Marasma is an Italian word to mean mess, when things are messy and tumultuous. The bottle indicates the nature of the fragrance. So think of going to the ocean and seeing waves crashing on the shore, and you get that foamy white element on the top of the actual wave. This is that white part. But then underneath, as the water clears or settles, as the waves settle, you get this beautiful turquoise color, and that's the exact point. This is a marine fragrance, and it's trying to demonstrate through the bottle itself that on that opening, you're getting a collection, you're getting this chaos, this movement, evolution of all these different notes. And then as the notes begin to settle and begin to dry down, you're getting now different aspects of the fragrance coming through. I find that the key notes on that opening is a pineapple and a passion fruit. It does have a banana note. I don't pick up a banana note. It also has a finger lime, and I don't get the citrus touch, but I do get a very sour passion fruit scent profile to it, mixed in with a slight coconut creaminess of that coconut touch. Are you detecting the same thing? Do you feel that there is a coconut touch to it? Have a look at your notes. There's no coconut. And again, I don't know whether it's because I smell this fruity tropical cocktail that my brain goes almost like wants to fill in the gaps and say, okay, well, if I'm smelling pineapple and passion fruit, then obviously coconut has to be part of that construct. Similar to its cousin, OLTREMARE, Marasma has beautiful evolution. Starts off with this beautiful explosion of happiness, these beautiful fruits that are coming through, the sunshine that emerges from the fragrance. It then goes to a salty fruit place. The fruits seem to come forward a lot more. These salt air begins to emerge, and then finally it dries down to this wonderful musky aquatic fragrance. There are touches of sweetness all the way through. That creaminess is definitely there. But again, no coconut and no musk. But there is this salt crystal accord. I had an opportunity to meet with the perfumer of Marasma, Luca Maffei. He mentioned to me that he was so proud of this particular fragrance. In particular, the salt crystal accord that they created for him. That's the hero of the fragrance. It's because of that salt crystal accord that brings personality to all those other notes. That saltiness, that sea air that you get from this fragrance is fabulous as it lends itself to those fruit notes, this musky touch. I love also, and this is the same that I shared before, where in the base, SCORZAFORZA has things like patchouli and cedarwood and amber. You'll find the same exists here with Marasma. However, it never goes to a woody place. It never goes to this woods or any patchouli touch. I feel that those notes are there purely to create a beautiful foundation, a strong presence for the fragrance to hold its own. You're going to get 20+ hours when it comes to the longevity of this fragrance and its projection, and also sillage. You're looking into the high to a very confident moderate. When you're wearing this, Marasma is definitely present. If you want to know more about this fragrance, I went to a lot more detail. I've fallen deeply in love with this fragrance. Have a look at this particular production. I go into, I explain a little bit more about the actual salt crystal accord that Luca Maffei created. So there you have it, 5 incredible fragrances from this discovery set. What was the one that stood out to you? Which ones did you put on skin? Let's do a little bit of a dry down moment. I want to show you some beautiful B-roll. Let the fragrance sit and let's come back. I'm hoping you did put some fragrances on your skin. Right now, I'm comparing between OLTREMARE and Marasma. And as I mentioned earlier, they are worlds apart. OLTREMARE, it's come off that very sharp green. I'm definitely in the beautiful salty florals. There's, as I mentioned earlier, sunshine. There's a sea breeze. There's happiness in this fragrance. And then the playfulness of Marasma. As a fragrance to make a statement in, boys, Marasma is gorgeous for a man, you know, to walk into and command some space. And if your partner is wearing Frammenti, bada bing, you guys would be the ultimate couple. Just absolutely unstoppable. SCORZAFORZA, it is just, it's dominant, it's strong, it's confident. It has the citrus touch with those beautiful green notes. It's an incredible citrus fragrance with muscles. Big, big recommendation. And finally, ROSSO has this sort of, not demure, but a very gentle nature about it. It's a fragrance that beautiful for intimate moments. So it's one where as people come in close to you, they almost feel a tenderness come or emanate from you because of ROSSO. Boys, a massive recommendation. Love wearing ROSSO. It's one that is perfect for date night or intimate moments. Bada bing, 5 incredible fragrances from Bois 1920. Massive recommendation on each one of these. I'm happy to announce that Bois 1920 are supporting this Discovery series with an incredible promotion to the value of 85 euros. What you do is click on the link below. It will now automatically put into your cart an 18 ml fragrance of your choice. The way you do it, select the fragrance that you want. Once you've selected that, it will automatically put in an 18 ml free of charge. Go to the next page, fill in your details, and at the bottom here, write in the fragrance that you would prefer free of charge. And that way the Bois 1920 team know which fragrance to send you. Hope you enjoyed that. I look forward to your comments on this particular lineup. And don't forget, next week, we're gonna do the other 5 all within the woods category. So it's gonna be wild to know that all of these fall in the same space, but yet are so unique and so different. Thanks everyone. We'll see you guys all on the next episode.